What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm very passionate about spirituality, specifically astrology. And one of my main goals with this channel is just to be able to show people how self-improvement and spirituality really do go hand in hand. And so if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And without further ado, let's hop right in. And so I'm gonna leave a link in the description, excuse me, that'll take you to a website where you can, enter in your personal information and it'll create a birth chart for you. But in this series, I've just been going through the houses, right? In astrology, a house is basically, an area of life, right? An aspect of life. If you think about the planets as like if you think about the planets as actors, the signs are like the costumes that they would wear within any given house or like any given stage, right? Or set type shit or within the theater of life. If that's kind of an easier way of looking at it, probably not at all, but we're gonna keep pushing. So in astrology, the third house is the house of communication. It affects the way we process and learn new information. Early education, which basically, teaches us how to think and communicate, is also covered by the third house. Our attitude towards siblings, cousins, and neighbors can be seen in the third house, and travel as well. Usually, short distance travel, or your around town commute type of thing is also governed by this house. Just to touch on that, your Mercury, when you think third house, you want to think Mercury because it's also the planet that's associated with third house. The sign Gemini. The sign Gemini, rules the third house, and Mercury is a planet that's associated with third house. And all three of these concepts, right? The third house, Mercury, Gemini, all point back to the same thing, right? Your mental faculties, again, how you process information, how you communicate, how you learn new things. All of these are, all of these things are related to basically information processing type shit, right? Your mental ability. So when we're looking at a third house aspect of it, again, it's more so how you see this in life. So in like a Mercury sense, it's more so like how you personally, like how you literally communicate, and you know uh how you literally process how you literally process information. And excuse me, I had a brain fart. And also, it could allude to talents and things of that nature that you might naturally have. But in a third house, from the third house point of view, it's more so where, I would say the third house is definitely more so where you go to gather information best, or where you best process information, right? Not exactly like how, but where. So with Cancer, for example, if you had third house in Cancer, you probably learn better at home than in a public setting, because the sign Cancer has a lot to do with the home and family, things of that nature. You'd also probably, learn better when it comes to dealing with things that you're emotionally invested in, because, Cancer's a water sign. They are very emotional, water signs with Cancers, specifically. And so having like a sign like Cancer in the third house, it could take you, again, being emotionally invested in something first. On the communication side, you probably would be able to read others' moods easier with the water sign in the third house. you know similar to a water sign Mercury, but less of how it plays out within you, or I would say on like a psychological level, and again more of so how it manifests out in the real world, out in your life. And like the to speak to the siblings and cousins thing and all of that good jazz. um yeah, if again going back to the Cancer example, Cancers again are very protective over their family, over their homes. So having Cancer in the third house, you can naturally be very protective over your over your siblings, especially maybe younger ones, right? Cousins, your neighbors. You could have very good relationships with your cousins, neighbors, things of that nature. Yeah, to keep it pushing. Correlation wise, We have learning, communication, and I have transportation on here. I would say these are probably the most not the most important necessarily. I don't really want to like phrase it that way, but definitely mm, definitely what you would notice first, or what's most obvious so far as third house, mercurial, Gemini energy. Excuse me, energy. But yeah, learning again, your learning ability, right? Communication, transportation, all these things go hand in hand with the third house. Again, transportation has a lot to do with that short distance travel, and that can be more clearly seen in retrograde times, especially like Mercury retrograde. And I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a series on retrogrades, but again, I don't know if you ever heard of Mercury retrograde or not. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But when Mercury retrograde occurs, usually there's problems and mix up and things of that nature when it comes to communication and travel. Right, you might run late more during Mercury retrograde. Your car might break down. Right, you might have little just issues like that involving transportation, and again, that is because that the third house, Mercury, you want if you want to even say like Gemini energy, it's associated with again your commute, and not necessarily long distance travel. That's more of like a Jupiter Sag thing. Like they love to travel and like experience shit like that for real. But Geminis are more so again like the busybodies, the running errands type of vibe. So most definitely, the three most, I would say, apparent. There you go. Qualities. But yeah, that was the third house. And next we're just gonna keep rolling right on through these, gang. If you found this informative at all, again, go ahead, leave a like for me. But until next time, I'm out. Peace.